Hello Internet, and welcome back for another grocery haul. It's a new month, so a new big old load of groceries and a few household essentials. So let's go ahead and jump right in. This guy is on top, so we'll start here. These are some cheese wisps. It's basically just baked cheese. There's no flour or binder. It's just dehydrated cheese. They're very diet friendly, although a little on the expensive side. But as you might notice, I'm back on the diet successfully this month. Getting a lot more determined now that summer is coming, and that means fall is coming. But anyways, next up we have some good old Scooby Snacks. My guy likes these a fair deal, and it amuses me that he eats dog bones. He is a fan of most things that are cinnamon flavored, and these are just basically graham crackers, the cinnamon flavored graham crackers in a fun little shape, right? And speaking of fun shapes, I got some goldfish, but they had baby goldfish. Now, I'm not entirely convinced that he'll notice the difference, but I love tiny food. So at the very least, it'll amuse me when I pack those into his lunches, right? And let's see here. This guy wants to roll away, so maybe we'll do him next. This is a big old thing of vinegar. A little bit of it will be for cooking, but most of it is for cleaning. Vinegar is a good cleaner, although one little bit of advice, I put that down, is that there's a lot of like home cleaning solutions that have you add vinegar and soap to the same mix. And that's actually kind of useless. Vinegar is slightly acidic, so it breaks up grease and stuff like that in one way. And soap is hydrophilic, so it grabs onto water and it cleans that way. Well, when you combine them together, they actually neutralize each other. So, just a small little tip there for you. Next up, we have some garbage disposal cleaner pods. Since I do the cooking, generally, my guy will do the dishwashing. And he's not the best about running the garbage disposal until it's like obvious that it's a little backed up. So sometimes it helps if I go ahead and after he cleans, I do a little bit more cleaning. And I'll run a disposal cleaner in there. Probably only like once every couple of weeks, maybe once a month. And then finishing out my cleaning bag here, we have some Snuggle scent booster. I normally use like the little pellets because I don't like dryer sheets. They leave a residue on your clothing, right? But I love my laundry to smell like something. I haven't tried these ones yet, but I've been kind of craving a different smell from the ones that I usually use. So we're gonna find out if the Snuggle ones work as well as the Downy ones, which I use the Downy ones on occasion, and Gain is actually the main scent booster brand that I use. Anyways, let's move along to some good old food again. We have some protein snacks for my guys' lunches, obviously. And then we have a big old bag of onions for all all sorts of cooking tastiness. I know that onions are long lasting, but it still surprises me just how long lasting they can be if you store them correctly. They like cool, they like dark, and you have to keep them away from potatoes. But otherwise, this bag could sit for 2-3 months. Not that it'll last that long, but I do go through like dry spells where I don't need the onions for little bits of time. So I'm always relieved that they haven't sprouted when I get back to them, right? Following that, we have some rogue peanut butter that's trying to roll away. Let's go ahead and grab that guy first. Just some plain old Skippy creamy peanut butter. Now I do actually have peanut butter currently, but it is, let's see if I can grab it out here, a protein peanut butter. Now if you're gonna mix this in with something else, it tastes just fine. But on its own, you can kind of feel the texture difference. They put pea flour in there to up the protein content. And just on its own, I notice the pea flour, but sometimes I'll mix honey in or nuts to give it additional texture. And once I do that, I don't notice it too bad. But I wanted some plain old peanut butter for those moments where I'm just eating peanut butter, because they do happen. And then this guy that almost got away without being shown off is just a little can of no salt added tomato sauce. I'm going to be doing my cauliflower casserole and making my own pizza sauce for that. So that'll come in handy to help thicken things up. Along that same line, I got some not different, but a variety of tomato products this time around. I guess I was in a tomato mood. We have some fire roasted diced tomatoes, and then some diced tomatoes with green chili, and then, let's see here, hiding somewhere. Where are you? There we are. And we have some whole peeled tomatoes, and this is what I'll use to make my pizza sauce. That will not go on pizza. It'll be for that casserole that I was telling you about. It's kind of, it's a soupy casserole, but it's not too bad. And since half of it is like cauliflower, it's pretty diet friendly, so can't complain when you get that much flavor, right, out of something that's relatively low calorie. I mean, there's still cheese and pepperonis that typically go on it, so it has some calories, but it's not too bad. Anyways, we've got some garbanzo beans next, or chickpeas as they're sometimes known, and these are for making hummus. That's been my kind of thing lately, is making homemade hummus. I've been making like a roasted red pepper, garlic, and habanero one. It's got some kick to it. And my guy, he'll never confess that something's too spicy, right? So I kept making it hotter and hotter and hotter, right? Because I was trying to make it like spicy, right? And I was talking to him, I don't know, about a week ago about it. And he's like, it's not too spicy, because he won't admit it's too spicy. But I seem to be having some digestive issues. Like that pepper doesn't agree with me. And I'm like, well then, I guess I can make it less spicy for you. Now can't I? Oh, the foibles of men. And then following that, we've got the white beans for my ever classic white bean chili. This is just Such an easy go-to. Maybe I'll make white bean chili as my next cooking video. I have a hard time finding time for extra videos, but I know I didn't do an extra one last month and I feel bad about that. So I'm debating if the bonus video, because I gotta do one this month, I think. I'm debating if it'll be cooking or felting. Felting's more fun. Cooking's a little stressful to film, I think, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel as time progresses. But next we have some good old little snacky pickles. I was about to say potatoes. Just a nice low-calorie snack with lots of flavor, right? Many a times I've wanted to nom on something and a few pickles will actually do the deal. But on the same vein as some nice low-calorie snacks for yours truly, the store had Seaweed Snacks again. You might recall that last month they had them, and I was so excited I bought two. And I still bought two. Maybe they'll keep them in regular stock now, though. That's 2 trips in a row that I've seen them. So who knows? Maybe I'll eat so many Seaweed Snacks I get tired of them. Hasn't happened yet, but it's bound to happen if I keep picking up 2 packages at one time, right? We've got one more snack for me. Boy, I spoiled myself this month, didn't I? It's another one of those cheese crisp snacks. And interestingly, I looked them up online because at the cheaper stores, they have the Parmesan flavor and the cheddar flavor, right? But I was in the expensive grocery store the other day, just picking up some filler items until I could do a video. And they had tomato basil cheese crisps, right? And they were very tasty. So I looked it up. This brand makes 9 different flavors, but they're kind of expensive to order online, because shipping and handling and all of that. But I'm debating just getting one of all the flavors and just trying them out. They have ranch, the tomato basil. I think there was a pepper jack Asagiago blend one. Anyways, lots of good flavors. So I'm kind of yearning to try them out. Next up is a snack that's not for me. Some good old mint flavored Oreos. So these are for my guy, particularly for his lunches. He doesn't have a huge sweet tooth, but I don't know if it's because I always pack his lunch with something sweet, but he's kind of in the habit now of eating a sweet with his lunch. He stayed from home yesterday, and I wasn't feeling well. I've been having some teeth issues, right? And so I just got him one of those grown-up Lunchables. It's just what was it? It was pepperoni and cheese and crackers, and that's it. And I'm like, this'll be good enough for you. He's like, yeah, it'll be good enough. He eats it. He comes back out and grabs some of the circus animal cookies that I had left over from last month. And I just chuckled to myself because I know that little pack of cheese and crackers was quite a bit of food, actually. It was a bigger one because I got it at Sam's Club. But that's all right. I mean, he doesn't eat to excess, and that boy stays skinny. It's kind of frustrating. Anyways, let's get back on track here. We've got some of those grill mate seasoning mixes. I just can't seem to move away from using them. This black garlic flavor was a new one that I tried last month, and I got 2 of them. I got 2 of them again because it's actually a pretty tasty flavor. A little on the salty side, I think, but most of these are a little on the salty side if you don't brush off all the excess. That's probably what I was trying to say. All the additional marinade, right? We've got 1 little pack of zesty herb and then 2 packs of the tomato, garlic, and basil, kind of to go with my tomato craving. I had gotten some greenhouse tomatoes on my filler shopping trip, just to eat as a snack. I like to eat tomatoes as an apple. Some people get that and some people think it's the grossest thing in the world, my fiance included. But they weren't ripe at all. Like, I know that nowadays they don't artificially color, they enhance the color of tomatoes with a gas. I don't remember what the gas is, but it gives them that nice bright redness without actually having any sun time at all. And these were gassed in excess because they were not pleasant. But I think it made me sad and wishing for some authentic tomato flavor. Next up, we have 1 little bottle of apple juice. It had occurred to me that I hadn't gotten anything like really fun or extreme for my guys' lunches. And I always feel bad about not having any surprises. So I got 1 little bottle of apple juice. And it'll have the added benefit of giving me a day to clean his water bottle out. His lunch pail has a water bottle that fits right inside, right? The problem is even though it's just water that goes in there, and it should be fine, he ends up with, the same bottle over and over again, and I feel the need to clean it. Even water can get dirty, right? But anyways, I'm having lots of tangents today. Next up is some Cheez-Its pepper jack flavor, which honestly is my favorite flavor of Cheez-Its these days. And then following that, we have some popcorn. I haven't been making popcorn, and I should. I got a big old jar of unpopped kernels. But the simplicity of just throwing one of these in his lunch is definitely appealing, and so I just got it. And after that, we have another treat for me. I spoiled myself this trip. This is a yoga mat. And although maybe I should do some yoga on it, it's not why I bought it. See, you know that I do the needle felting, right? And that makes 3D creatures. There's another type of felting called wet felting, where you lay out the fiber and then most typically you'll roll it and kind of change directions and roll it again, and it'll shrink into a flat fabric. Problem is when you roll those things up into a little tube, they can slip and slide. And I had just been looking for no slip sheets. You can buy them usually in the housewares section to put underneath dishes and stuff like that so they don't slide around. But I just wasn't seeing them. And I saw this was at Winco, the grocery store, believe it or not. And it's no slip. It has texture. I'm wondering if it'll be just perfect for wet felting. Hopefully it will be. If it's not, maybe I'll take up some yoga to justify the expense of it. It's only $13, but still. Next up, right here on the counter, I won't even lift it because it's going to be heavy and make clanky noises, is a 3-pack of marinara sauce that I got at Sam's Club. It's $7 for 3 jars. And you know, your brain might be going, oh, that's not that great of a price. I can get a jar of marinara for $2 at the grocery store, right? Except for these are double size. So it's almost like having 6 jars of marinara. So it's a pretty good price. And then to go with all that marinara and other things, let's see here if I can get this guy out. Oh, that's a heavy boy. I ended up getting this giant box of pasta. I thought I was out of spaghetti noodles, and I was thinking about making more pastas for dinner, like, you know, outside of spaghetti, just like as a side. So I got it. As I was clearing out some room in my cabinets to put the groceries away after the video's done, I discovered that I do, in fact, have a completely full bag of spaghetti, or box rather. So we're going to be noodled up for quite some time. Also at Sam's Club, I got some Hunter's Mix nuts. This is such a pleasant little combination. It's got like sesame sticks and cashews and pepitas and peanuts. It's pretty good, and it's not the best thing. It's not the worst thing either. So a serving is 1/4 of a cup, and it has 180 calories, which is a little high, but pretty standard for any nut-based snack. 15 grams of fat, which is good. 9 grams of carbohydrate, and here's the kicker, 2 of them are dietary fiber. So that's actually really good. And then it also has 6 grams of protein. So it's, you know, it is a snack food, but for a snack food, it's pretty well balanced. I can't complain with those. And then I got another giant jar, or bottle, yes, that's the word, of avocado oil. I almost like, there are occasions where I want like, you know, actual olive oil, but this stuff is just so good for so many things that it's now my main cooking oil. It has a very neutral flavor. It doesn't taste like avocados at all. It has a very high smoke point, so you can saute and fry and do all of those things with it. And it's fairly light on the mouth. It's still oily, like all oils are, but it's not a really heavy oil. It's probably more in the medium range. I've had lighter oils, but anyways, this is good cooking stuff right here. And then let's see here, we have my big old bag of coffee, because I'm a coffee fiend in this household. And then last but not least, a big box of mashed potatoes. I did get freezer bread, but I want to kind of move away from having every meal be served with freezer bread. I do it for ease, right? Because I'm not eating the bread, so I want to just cook it real quick and give it to my guy before I get tempted. But I feel like I feed him a lot of that. So that's why I got the pasta and some mashed potatoes, and he'll just have all sorts of carbohydrates that I'm not supposed to eat. And I do believe, yep, that finishes out that bag. So I'll reset the counter and grab out all of the cooler items next. All right. First up, for my cooler stuff, we got a big old bag of broccoli. Lately, Sam's Club has only had the organic one. It's still a better price than buying the broccoli at, you know, the smaller grocery stores. But it is more expensive. I don't really think it's all that better of a quality, in my opinion, but you know, they have what they have. And nice thing about buying them in bags like this is they're already pre-washed and chopped and ready to go. So that is nice. And then next, I got not one, but two corned beef briskets. These were at Sam's Club as well. And it was only $3.98 a pound, which is good for corned beef in this area. Like it's supposed to, the whole point of a brisket is it's supposed to be like an inferior cut. That's why you cook it for so long. But around here, briskets are pretty expensive. So I was happy to see these. Obviously, they're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. But I like corned beef enough that I'll cook it year round. So I got two. This one was only $11.30. You can see that we'll definitely get at least 2 meals out of that guy. I tend to overindulge when it comes to corned beef, so it might only be 2 meals. And I did try to grab smaller ones. Not only am I only cooking for 2 typically, but my crock pot is a little on the tiny side for a crock pot. So this was the next smallest one. It was actually a lot larger, almost a whole, let's see here, almost a whole extra pound, 3/4 of a pound bigger. And this one was $14.25. So some good old corned beef. Probably make that tomorrow because it needs so much time. Like I wanted to make it today, but with the video and everything, that wouldn't have been possible. You can speed cook corned beef, but I feel like you sacrifice a lot of the softness when you do that. So I don't prefer to go down that route. Slow cooker all day, best way to do it. Next up, some good old string cheese. My guy is such a cheese fiend, and I ran out of cheese to put in his lunches, which is why he kind of got that little like that Lunchable type thing I was telling you about earlier. But you can see him like fishing around for cheese, and we've been out for days. Poor thing. So I've definitely loaded us up so that he will not be without cheese for a while. Because next up is some pepper jack cheese. And then we have some Mexican 4 cheese. And it's not done yet because we also have provolone cheese. So that covers almost all the cheese basics, I think. There's obviously more types of cheese, but for the uses that we have, this should work on everything. Following all of that cheese, we have some more gut busters, so to speak. Some good old Polish kielbasa. I told you the story already about my aunt, poor thing. And then we have bacon. And I picked up one of each just to show you guys. I have noticed that most of the stores now, or maybe I just didn't see it before, have been carrying this bacon ends and pieces. So during the manufacturing, anything that doesn't perfectly fit in a container like this gets weighed and pressed into a block like this. It's a little inconvenient, I'm not gonna lie, because everything's inconsistent. There's some really big pieces. There's some pieces that are like just fat. But if you do a lot of sauteing, you know, if you're mixing in bacon with your green beans or making stir fry or something like that, you don't really need uniform slices anyways. But the real thing why I use it, despite, you know, the fact that you kind of have to work at it a little bit harder, is that this guy, he is 48 ounces, right? is the same price as this guy, who is 20 ounces. So for almost double the amount of meat, I'm paying the same price. So I save these for breakfast. Sometimes I'll use this for breakfast too, but it's pretty inconvenient if you're trying to serve, pieces of bacon that you can pick up with your fingers. But I sometimes I do it. But anyways, long story short, I've been mostly using this stuff now because, it's like half the price. Why would you not? If, you have the ability to dice it up anyways. So it's a good find because we go through a lot of bacon in this household. And then it looks like I might have lied a little bit. We have one more thing of cheese, some good old Parmesan cheese. Have so many tomato-based meals coming up that just kind of made sense to have. And we've got some nice red bell peppers. When I was at Sam's Club, I meant to get their big pack because they've been having some lovely bell peppers at Sam's Club. But I just forgot to do it. Usually I'll see it and I'll remember as soon as I see it, so it might not have even been out. They could have, not had it in stock when I went, but I felt the need to still pick up a few, but I only picked up 2 bell peppers. And that's just for variety with the lunches. Typically, my guy gets carrots over and over and over again. He's kind of picky on vegetables. So he'll do carrots, he'll do celery. He's kind of meh on broccoli. He hates cauliflower. He doesn't hate it, but he definitely doesn't prefer it. But bell peppers, apparently he likes. So that is a good thing. The more vegetables you can feed your loved ones, the better. People need to eat more vegetables. Following the bell peppers, we have a pretty large bag of jalapeno peppers. Some of that is for chili, and some of that I meant to do jalapeno poppers. And it just occurs to me that I forgot to pick up the cream cheese, which is a pretty tasty and almost vital ingredient to jalapeno poppers, right? So I may have to run out separately from this and get some cream cheese, because now we're going to be sad that we're not having jalapeno poppers. We got some cucumbers. This is something that my guy definitely does not like to eat. He doesn't like any vegetable that's kind of like squishy. So cucumbers and tomatoes, like raw tomatoes. But I like cucumbers, so when he has his carrots, sometimes I have my cucumbers instead. A little easier on the teeth too, right? And then following that, we got lots of plasticky noises going on right now. And that's because next up is some Granny Smith apples. That's my guy's favorite type of apples. I prefer like an ambrosia or a Honeycrisp myself, but that's his favorite, and he eats most of them, so might as well get the one that he likes, right? And then rounding out that bag is a head of green cabbage. Corned beef and cabbage is a classic combination, right? But I enjoy cabbage like way more than any person should. And I was tempted to get 2, but my crisper drawer doesn't have a lot of space in it after a regular grocery trip, and it's always better to eat fresh anyway, so maybe when I run out to get that cream cheese, we'll have already gone through this head, and I'll be able to get another head, because adding more bulk to my crisper drawer here is a big old head of cauliflower. If I use it for the pizza casserole, this will make actually like either a really large one or more typically for us, 2 smaller ones. If I'm trying to not repeat myself too much, sometimes I'll cook that for a lunch kind of a thing. It's really tasty if you just roast it in the oven with a little bit of garlic. I think it's pretty fabulous lunch food. Working from home, I have the benefit of being able to make myself a warm lunch when I have the energy to do it, right? Next up is a super giant bag of carrots. I'm always like taken aback by how many carrots we actually go through. But once I peel and chop these, it takes almost, I'd probably put about 2.5 carrots in each one of his lunches when that is his lunch vegetable. And they keep in the drawer pretty well for, I don't know, I don't think I've ever had any go like soggy on me. So that means at least 2-3 weeks. So it's a nice hearty vegetable. And then finishing out my cooler bag here, we have 3 containers of half and half. That is, of course, for all of my coffee drinking. Because not only do I drink a lot of coffee, but I like it very, very light. You know, to that point where people love to make the joke, oh, would you like a little coffee with your creamer? Even when I go super crazy with the creamer, it's still mostly coffee. I think that joke annoys me. Probably only because I hear it far, far too often, right? Do you have a joke like that where people are always telling you, you know, how's the weather up there? Or I'm blanking on any of the other like standard ones. But you know, just it's supposed to be like a nice ribbing, but you hear it so often that you're just like, it's not funny. Oh man. Okay, so that's all our cooler stuff. We're down to just the freezer bag now. So let me go ahead and grab that guy. In our freezer bag here, we have some breadsticks and garlic knots, which are basically the same thing, but it adds variety just in the different shape, right? And then one more thing of freezer bread. We've got the 5-cheese Texas toast. I think he prefers this one the most because it has that cheese on there. But of course, it's the most expensive one. So I usually don't stock up on too many of those, but a few is all right. And then, last but not least, is all of our frozen vegetables. We have San Francisco blend. This has green beans, broccoli, onions, mushrooms, and red peppers in it. We have the Normandy blend. This one is broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, yellow squash, and zucchini. We have the Asian stir-fry blend, and this one is broccoli, carrots, onions, red peppers, celery, water chestnuts, and mushrooms. Finishing out our final bag here is the broccoli stir fry. So this one's broccoli, green beans, carrots, onions, mushrooms, and red peppers. So that means we are at the end of the video, which of course means some shout outs. So let's find a few good ones. I'm just gonna look them up. I usually try to memorize the names. I think it sounds more personable, right? But I'm getting so many wonderful comments lately, you guys. You're so encouraging, and it blows my mind. Not because I think my videos have no value, but because they're just so sparse. Um, the standard YouTuber, the people who like do it professionally or maybe even just semi-professionally, right? They put out content like once a week. Some of the ones that I will watch do it like 3 times a week. I don't know how they have the time for that, other than they're not doing any. I have a lot of hobbies. This is one of them. But I'm also trying to get that felting business off the ground, and that eats up a lot of time. And the cooking. Anyways, I'm getting off track. So I know that YouTube favors the type of people that make content all the time, and I know that even among my, friends here on the channel, people would prefer if I did it more often, right? Sadly, the big grocery hauls only happen once a month, right? But despite that, despite how casual I am about this, right? Because, like I said, I just do this for the fun of it, to interact with you guys and maybe add a little bit of calming positivity to the world. But my channel is growing, so there's so many people to shout out to. At any rate, my camera is trying to die on me, or rather it did at least once already. So that is my sign that this video is long enough and I need to move on to other things. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, and for those of you who leave me comments, that's even better, right? So I hope you're feeling a little more relaxed than when we started, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. All right? Until then, good night.